Green light, green light. Go, go, go.
How's that now? Are you hearing me now on stream? Right, I can at least hear that. ACC is turned up. I might need to turn the in-game sound up. Discord, if you talk, they probably will hear you because that's unmuted. That's fine. That's because it's reading through one bit of a bit of noise cancelling software, and I didn't turn it on. I missed that on the reboot. Right, apologies for that. I hope everybody at least saw what was going on. I think we're good. Wonderful, that should be everything done and sorted. We were just having some issues. I had to reboot the computer and didn't turn a piece of software back on, which was for my mic, which meant you couldn't hear me, and I didn't realise I hadn't turned it on. Well, that might be a good thing, that might not be. Wonderful. Right, after a very shaky start, good evening and welcome everybody. We're here for round 5 of Monza driver swap. So we have 10-minute pit window to do your driver swap and take full service, which I believe that's a minimum time of 45 seconds. Stationary, so it gives everybody enough time to make sure they've switched over, they've pushed all the right buttons, and they are happy and ready to jump in the car. So a lot like the sprint rounds from the British GT that we saw the other weekend that were happening at Alton Park. Same kind of setup. Do a driver swap, and there's only one race rather than two, because 2 1-hour races at this time of night on a Sunday is probably a bit much to ask. Just going to have a look, because we've had some penalties come through. Just going to grab the form up and see what those were for. There we go. So, 10 seconds for car 78, causing collision with car 327 on lap 1. 15 seconds for causing car 5, causing a collision with car 66 on lap 1. So that would be the 2 incidents that we saw earlier when I wasn't actually talking. Which is wonderful. Everybody's being reasonably well behaved. I'm not seeing anybody massively jump up and down the order. I'm just looking to see if this is a battle and a half. We've got a few cards here. We've got BMW versus McLaren. BMW obviously punching a nice big hole in the air for that McLaren to drag up behind. Everybody concertinas in on under brakes nice and hard into the chicane. It's the second one there. Everybody drags back out. That's now fed the 2 McLarens that were following back into each other. And the BMW actually now is able to make a little bit of a break from these 2 McLarens behind and start focusing a little bit more forward on the McLaren in front. So that is Christian Muller in the BMW there. Gets past Sullivan in the McLaren and has now got the 2 McLarens of Robert and Jones in behind now, who are chasing hard. Okay, slightly further back, we've got McLaren and an Aston Martin, who are trading places. Says we have the McLaren of Samuel? I'm going to go with Samuel. And Alessandro in the Aston Martin. It gets a nice drag, pulls out. McLaren is going defensive down into turn 1. Dive on the brakes from the Aston. Well played. Well played indeed. Made their intentions known. Don't think the McLaren was expecting that Aston to be able to go around the outside. So, very well done there. Well done there. And that looks like the Aston's getting a bit of a drive away. Can the McLaren do anything coming back down into the chicane? Not really. That looks like that is done, and the Aston's going to have half a chance of pulling away, providing they don't make any mistakes. Who else have we got? Where have we got action going on? Action is going on all over the track. Let's pop up to this first battle for first and seconds. They go past a back marker. That was the Lamborghini we saw involved in that turn 1 incident where it got sandwiched between the Mercedes and the Bentley trying to come back on track. So they are clearly carrying a bit of damage and are trying to recover, or those things, rather than recover, they have pulled into the pits and done so. So anybody that's made a pit stop now for damage means they have had to make an extra pit stop on top of the one that they have to make within that 10-minute time window. This is McLaren on McLaren. It is down to who has the best setup and ability to drive this car as to who's going to make up time. Lewis has managed to gain quite a bit. Can they get off the corner and make the most of the gains they made in the braking zone? Kept it fairly even coming out of there. As we see Audi on Aston with the Bentley in behind. That's the Bentley that got caught out earlier on and is now recovering as the Aston gets it a little bit wrong through the chicane, has to dive out of the way. Looks like they might be letting the Audi back past just to have not gained an advantage by running off track. Very, very smart driving, very well done. Either that or they just got a bit of a slow exit. having been tight on the exit of the corner there as well. Now, ooh, little bit of a touch from the Bentley. No harm done. Everybody's able to continue, but that will have unsettled the Aston there as this Audi manages to pull away. The Aston is Peter Romeo, one of the Toga Racing team, very own Toga Racing team as well. I don't know why I haven't got the Aston Martin livery still. Apologies. So yeah, very, very good driver. He's right down in the mix with this one. Thank you, Chance. We should be okay. We are indeed racing. Apologies, I am a little bit flustered still from all the issues earlier on. As that Audi, we have another Audi that is getting hounded by a Porsche who has dropped. That Audi is a. You're racing the Bentley, but the Porsche behind. You're a backmarker and that's the Porsche that caught out earlier in the first lap instance and is now trying to recover as the Audi goes deep on the brakes, gets that one done. Has that Bentley got the grunt to get back at all? No, not quite. That's opened the door for that Porsche that's trying to recover from behind. But they've got to be careful that if they get past, they need to clear and get a gap. Otherwise, they will be subject to blue flag rules, which is if they can't make a gap, they will have to give that track position back to the car that they were trying to unlap themselves against. The Bentley around here is surprisingly strong just because it's got so much grunt. It's not amazing on the brakes, but it has so much grunt in a straight line. If you get it pointing vaguely in a straight line on the exit, just map that throttle and it will go. So if you can pick up any kind of toe, it just makes that car fly down the straights. Everybody here will be running their cars very, very trimmed out. As little aero on them as possible. So they're going to be twitchy through these faster corners. But to be fair, they've got traction control, they've got ABS. They're not the most unfriendly cars to drive, but they're certainly not an easy car to drive. As the Bentley goes deep on the brakes, trying to hold that one around the outside. Again, that Porsche just got to get checked up a little bit behind. Looks like this might have cost the Bentley a bit too much time. What grunt has it got in the straight line to catch back up with the Audi down the pit straight here into the first chicane? Again, you see that Porsche just sticking its nose out, having a look. That's the last thing you want. Try to remove just a little too far back. As these two cars are now catching up. We're back up with the Aston Martin of Peter Romeo. Wondering if that car, after that tag from the Bentley, has left it a little bit of damage on that rear end. And with these cars running so low to the ground here, any kind of rear diffuser damage, that's what's going to be making a lot of your downforce here. So pick up any damage on that, and it's going to be a bit of a problem. So that car possibly not being settled in quite as comfortably as would like. After that incident, we see running wide on the exit of the Lesmos there at the top of the circuit, and we come down into this long back straight under the old banking. Thinking that Audi has managed to get the drive as a result and has got past. Has the Bentley got anything to? Can the Bentley do anything here, or can the Aston fight back against that Audi coming into the final corner here? No, hasn't got anything. The Bentley goes deep on the brakes, absolutely sends it. Beautiful block pass on the Aston. Little bit sideways, just a little bit sideways on the exit. Just kick over a stair, keeps it in check, and keeps that one going. As that's now checked up Pateron has left them vulnerable to this backmarker Porsche that is not willing to give that track position up, and is desperately trying to make up time to try and get back on the lead lap as many cars as they can. As they are currently, is that 913? Yes, it is 913, so they are stone dead last. With the Lamborghini that also was in strife early on, about a minute and a half up the road. So from them, so they're desperately trying to catch back up with that car and make up as many and unlap themselves off as many cars as possible. So if there's any issues, they can gain that time back well and truly for other people. As we see that battle is still going on, it's just edging out a little bit on that Audi, between the Bentley and the Audi. As first and second are still hovering around that half-second mark. So nothing too major there. We've got a bit of a three-car battle for 6th, 7th and 8th between Vince, Jones and Borkman. Robert, that's the one. As that gap between Vince and Borkman, but the gap between Sullivan, nicely done as we look at that one. That was not completely expected as Borkman goes, as Robert goes ahead of Ryan O'Sullivan there, dives down under brakes and gets the job done into the first corner. Not entirely sure that was completely expected, but no, everybody got through that without making contact, and that now puts the BMW. I'm just looking at the livery on that BMW. That reminds us a lot of the Need for Speed car from Most Wanted. Those that do know that, well done. Have a cookie. So very nicely done. That's a lot of work to recreate that on the M4. That's a very different shaped car than the old M3 that was based off of. That was the M3 GTR that livery came off of. So very nicely done there. Ooh, bit of a wiggle coming through there. Can Jones do anything in that McLaren now? If they got the drive to get anything done down the straight, doesn't look like it. BMW again, when it's all trimmed out, has just got enough grunt and go. It's tight on the exit, it's going to leave him slow, manages to stay tight. Has Jones got anything to fight back on the exit? Got the longer run around the outside, has got the power down and stays ahead. Well done. That was nicely done. That was just managed to hold it tight as the McLaren tried to get a bit of a cutback. Anything on the brakes? No, that BMW really got on its brakes around here. Yeah, gets on the power. Doesn't need to be too defensive, but does need to be aware that that car is buzzing around behind him. Right, just sticks the nose out. A little bit coming on the brakes. Nothing too major. Looks like that BMW, as we see an Aston going for a bit of a wiggle over the curbs on the way out. On the way out of the chicane. Anybody else? Gaps? Oh, this. We've got Oliver now catching up to connects Robert in the. That looked like they got very close. I'm going to do a quick replay on that and see what happened. They were very close coming together. I looked at the time screens and they were suddenly not very close to each other. Audi ran deep in on the brakes, upset the car. Manages to not run too far off track, but cost themselves a lot of time into that chicane. And opens that gap up to Canet. And just leaves them open and able to run away. So this BMW battle what is still going on, as we also have Ellis in the Ferrari. Is about just touched in under a second, or is hovering around the second mark, behind the Aston Martin, ahead of Alessandro. So we'll keep an eye on that one. I think that one is just going to naturally play out as we see there. As we see, Lewis and Vanbrugh are still going at it, trading lap times, trading places. They are not able to get away from each other. Julian is not able to break away from Lewis. But Lewis not really able to get quite close enough to be able to affect any kind of major move right now. So we'll keep an eye on that one as that gap closes right down. Oh, bit too late on the brakes. Saw that gap coming down and was a little wary. There is contact. They do wait up a little bit. They lose a place actually to the Aston of Lorenzo there as they all get checked up. Reasonably heads up driving there by Muller to just let, and has actually since let Julian back past. I'm wondering if that McLaren is now carrying quite a bit of damage after that impact. And the other one would be as well. I think they just let out to let them pass. So really nice, really heads up driving, really polite there. Clearly didn't mean to make a mistake and intend on that to happen. It's cost them actually more time in the long run than it has the car they tagged. So very nicely done. YouTube, give me adverts to make sure the stream is running okay. Getting a little, I think that was my end struggling. We have that Jones battle. Callum Jones is still right up behind this BMW. That is one of the other Toga Racing crew. Is right up behind this BMW still. Not able to do a huge amount, although, ooh, bit of a squeeze. That was a little uncalled for, in all honesty. It didn't need to come across quite that much. Probably didn't know just how close the McLaren was. Ooh, stay off the racing line till you're up to speed. Not an easy place to stay out of the way, particularly going into the Lesmos, up at the top of the circuit there. Yeah, I'm not sure that BMW entirely knew that the McLaren was there, but yeah. We'll let that one, we'll go to the stewards, we'll let that one, let them decide that one. That's why we have them. They do a wonderful job, and can't thank them enough for the effort they do put in. They work so hard in all these races. As we see Robert Borkman, I apologise for completely butchering your name. I'm sure that's a Scandinavian name, and I'm completely butchering it, so I do apologise for that. Just dragging up. Has got good straight line, good top end in that McLaren. Has got into the toe and has managed to really catch up there. Both on the brakes at the same time. As this is Borkman at Robert and Julian. Julian being the one that was in the lead earlier, but unfortunately got caught out. That let Muller and Colessa Lorenzo. Apologies, I'm having to use first names sometimes because I can't pronounce some of these surnames. I do apologise. And honestly, won't be offended if you do send us a message going, this is how you pronounce it. Yeah, let those two cars go through and are now well up the road from this battle that's going on, as we see Lewis just trying to get back on terms and catch back up. Obviously, Lorenzo's got a 15-second penalty. I will have a look and see what that was for. Car 787, 15 seconds causing collision with car 913 on lap 1. That was one of the other lap 1 incidents. As we see the pit window now open for their 10-minute pit stop window. So yeah, they have a 45-second stationary plus time plus line-to-line delta. So the important bit there is that they will be stopped for 45 seconds regardless, so if you pick up damage, as we see Lorenzo bail for the pit straight away, obviously carrying damage from that earlier incident, tumbling down the order, being one of the first cars into the pits, will tumble down the order, though I'm assuming fix whatever damage they've got, and then run back out with a new driver in. So, anybody else? We also have 913 bailing for the pit to do their mandatory pit stop, as they have managed to unlap themselves off of Mac. Well done. Unfortunate for Mac, who I'm sure will be into the pits shortly. There we go, diving for the pits now. That car looks like it's been in the wars as well. I didn't see what that was. So yeah, we've got the first of the pit stoppers there. Mac obviously being one of the other commentary team, he is effectively head of the commentary, us commentary beings, and tries to herd us all around, make sure we do the right things. As we jump back to the leader, this battle is not going anywhere. Julian has managed to drop Robert, but Lewis has managed to catch right back up to both of them. So I don't know if there was a bit of an issue. He's gonna goes defensive, comes back across a little bit to the middle of the track, kind of hold on. Can't hold anything. A little bit of a touch. Nothing too major there. No harm done. Bit of a wiggle on the exits to try and get power down. Nothing too major there, just a bit of a squeeze on the going in and running down the pit straight. So that looks like Julian has managed to get away a little bit as everybody closes up on the brakes. Oh, that was a big dive on the brakes through there for Lewis in the back there, trying to catch up. A big dive on the brakes, but it's left them slow on the exit. As we see a few more people diving off the pits. Ryan O'Sullivan has dived in. Callum Jones has jumped into the pits, as has Aaron Bull, and Robert Knetz has also dived for the pits. And as has... That's a very cool livery. Milo's? I'm going to go with Milo's. That's probably entirely wrong, and I do wholly apologise. As we see... Jump back in, that is our very own server owner of Hayden Sweet, as he goes a little bit deep through that one. I'm sure he won't like us for that one, but hey ho. As runs out on their outlap now, and is just, I think, on damage limitation at this point. Running the server is a very big job. None of this would happen without him at the helm, doing everything he does, and helping us earlier and everything. Just making this all happen. So, very small human being, very, very lovely. Needs lots of thank yous for making this all happen, along with everybody else in the back office that makes this happen. I just sit here and swear at a computer when it doesn't work. As we see Robert Borkman just diving for the pits there as well. Hard on the brakes. It's a really short run in on this circuit. It's an easy one to pick up a speeding violation for the pit lane, because you're diving out of that last corner, and it's such a short shoot into the board. You're on the brakes before you've really left the racing surface to get slowed down. So you've got to make sure you're well on the inside there. Anything else? Anybody else? Ooh, Elias is back in the car now, having taken over from Callum Jones, and is catching up to Morgan? Zach Morgan, wonderful. Hello. And this looks like it could be an interesting battle going on now between the two of those. As Elias goes for a dive, moves out, can't quite get the car stopped, but goes Zach into going deep on the brakes, doesn't get the car stopped. Very nicely done. That's some really, really clever, really smart driving. I feel sorry for Zach Morgan getting a little bit caught out by that one. But went for a dive up the inside and just hung Morgan out on the outside by just forcing them to run deep on the brakes to try and hold that position. So very well done there. Very nicely done, and that has put Elias way up the road real quick as they run past a couple of the drivers in the pits. Yolds, Matthew Yolds, into the Bentley now. And is catching back up to the Audi that they were racing earlier. You have not pitted, and neither has the Audi, so we're seeing the cars that haven't pitted now are all cycling towards the front of... Oh no, as we see Stop Go 30's drive-through is coming through, so those will be... The Stop Go 30 will be for, I'm guessing, a... Speeding in the pit lane, and the drive-through is I'm assuming is a track limits violation. As we see, there's not a lot of the polystyrene boards left that's normally in the middle of there. Oh, that's a shame. That is Fabio Cometti. Obviously, you just come out of the pits. Obviously, your teammate didn't really leave you any any help with that one on whether they were going to get any obviously you were very close on those when your teammate came into the pits, unless you have literally managed to get that on the way out of all three of those on the way out of pits, at which point I feel very sorry for you if you have. Yeah, so that will be for track limit abuses, as that is everybody. So basically those currently penalties are ones that have not pitted, so you're going to go, dive straight for the pits, serve that penalty. It's not too bad, it's not the longest pit lane, but it is the speed difference between on track and here, as you see, just cruises past. It's so demoralising when that happens. It's really annoying. As we see, our leader Muller has pitted from the lead, as has Vince in that BMW, who's also pitted. We are getting towards the end of time now, so anybody, you're on your limit now. You can't really get away with doing any more laps beyond this one, really, so we should see the last couple of drivers coming through to pit now, either this lap or next. If they go much beyond this, they are going to be in serious strife for overrunning the pit. Their minimum pit stop being outside of that pit stop window, and that is, if you don't manage to do that, it is a 130-second penalty. Oh, big wiggle on the grass off the curbs there. It's a 130-second penalty, as I was saying, for missing your pit window, on top of the fact you may have pitted afterwards. So they have about a minute and 10 seconds. They should be all good. Definitely cannot afford to go for another lap off this one, and that goes for both of these top two cars of Julian and Lewis. Otherwise, we have bar these two, it is all of the new drivers. It doesn't look like Molds has changed. Molds, oh no, it has now changed. It just hadn't changed on the screen because they haven't gone through a timing loop. So when they go through a sector, it will all update. So effectively, yes, everybody now is in the pits and is swapping drivers, and we'll see that changeover just as they come out of this corner on the timing screen. There we go. They go through a timing loop, and everything updates. As we see our two leaders in the pits. The question is, who's going to come out in the lead after this? Where is everybody going to cycle back through?
Window is now closed.
That's how close they pushed it. They were right on the limit there. We did unfortunately see at the last round somebody had managed to managed to get their pit stop wrong, and I believe they served it in the time frame, but didn't swap drivers or something, and then missed out as both of them leave in the order they came out. It looks like both of these drivers are going to get out in the lead. So well done to those two. Oh no, apologies for missing that one. I didn't spot that. The Luca Admiral has managed to leapfrog both of them in the pits. So evidently any damage, just managed to have a slicker pit stop than those two. Whether they picked up damage that left them in the pits a little bit longer, I don't know. As everybody has settled down, as we see Elias is on the charge, and chasing down Tom Winch in that Bentley. That was a big dive. That was brave on the brakes. Left them a little bit slow on the exit, but they've definitely closed up a chunk of time. They picked up a couple of tenths there on the Bentley through that first chicane as they come through. No, this is Curva Grande. Yes, through Curva Grande. I'm trying to remember all the... slowly learning all the corner names and what have you. Out through the second chicane and into the Lesmos. Useless fact, when Audi, Alan McNish was running in the Audi is... Oh, big dive again. It's just comparatively... That McLaren is so good on its brakes compared to the Bentley, but that Bentley's got the grunt in a straight line. It can just put its power down and it just pulls away. But yeah, they would come to Audi when Alan McNish was running in the R18s, etc. They used to come to Monza to test Le Mans aero packages, and they would run without the first chicane. So they would go full throttle from the exit of turn, so the point they were getting on full throttle through the last corner, all the way through to that second chicane. They were clocking over 220 going through Curva Grande as they entered that corner, and they were flat to the floor in those rocket ships. So yeah, I believe I remember from an interview with him, he just said, I don't remember, I used to just have my eyes closed. As Elias goes for a big dive, knowing they've got the ability to do it. Ooh, that was very deep on the brakes. Can the Bentley do anything? Gets a little up, checked up, and a little bit up over the curbs. And that is, through goes Elias there. And that is... Bentley might be able to pull something back, but I think that McLaren is just a little bit too tuned in. And Elias is just a little too comfortable with that car. For Tom to be able to pull back anything there. So, as I scan through the... Whoa, Gray, you are side by side. This is a 3-car battle between Gray, McMillan, and Cookie? No, just which one is that Audi? I wish I knew the livery so I'd know which car it is. I can't remember which car that is, and I can't see. I believe that must be one of the backmark Audis they are a lap up on. Yes, it is car 71. That Audi is a lap down and trying to recover on these two, as they are not done, as the McLaren of... No. There we go. Jonathan McMullen tries to have a bit of a poke up the inside poke the nose in up the inside, but that has left them slow and actually vulnerable to this Audi that's trying to unlap itself. They've got to be careful. Backmarkers have got to be careful in these situations. Don't want to upset. It's reasonably... The stewards aren't entirely happy when backmarkers manage to get themselves caught up, causing accidents because they're trying to unlap themselves and they didn't get clear enough. So yeah, that's just opened that gap out to almost a second now, because I had to be looking behind him and almost defending from that Audi. So, outright fastest lap for Luca is... No, that's just gone to Wilson. I've just spotted that one. 1:22.7. Oh, sorry, 1:47.2. The top three are trading lap times. It is Tyler Hobson. Sorry, I'm just having a scan through, and it's just taking us a second to catch up. 1:47.240. The top three lap times, all within the same tenth as each other. 2:40 plays 2:77 plays 2:95. That is how close this lot are for lap times. As we see the app. Oh, that Lambo got very bounced over the curbs there. As they obviously got themselves a little bit deep. And that will be, having said that, in 20th, 1:46.8 for car 913. Danian has taken that car over and he's flying. I wish we could have seen what this car could have done. That is significantly faster than anybody else. Their last lap was fastest on track as well at 47.660. Excuse me. So that Porsche is absolutely flying. Unfortunately, they got a little bit checked up earlier and are now a lap down on the rest of the field due to that damage. Oh, ouch. Looks like Hayden has also ended up a lap down, as has that Lambo of Samuel Schneiser. I'm gonna go with that. It sounds right. That's a rather lovely colour on that as well, with the aero highlights in sort of an electric blue. Rather lovely. At some point, I will manage to make awesome sim racing work properly on my computer, and I will have all the liveries properly. Because I dare say there might be some interesting looking sponsors on that one, although the Lambos are... Feel free to go look up the wireframe for that Lambo, it's a mess. I am kind of waffling, there's not really anybody much within a second. We've got Christian Graniero car has taken over car 787 and is chasing down it is that BMW in front of them that they are chasing down of Trekov? I'm gonna go with Trekov. That's the new driver that has taken that one over after the pit stops. I am really, really sorry about the names on this one. So yes, we are as those two are steadily catching that gap's gone. It's hovering around the second mark, so we'll keep an eye on that one. See if that turns into anything. Both cars look absolutely lovely. Whoever did their liveries has done a really lovely job on them. There's nobody else really mega close. The battle for the lead is only 1.6 seconds. The next gap I can see is 1.3 for back from Cook, David Cook. Sorry, that name rings a bell, and the spelling also rings a bell of somebody we used to know. That was a real brain fart and a brain failure moment there. There's about 1.3 seconds back to Trekov from Cook here. 1.6 seconds from Kometti to Jaros? Jaros? I am sorry, you have some truly spectacular names, and I wish I could pronounce them properly, because I am not doing them justice. I'm gonna hope that Jarrow is an acceptable shortening of your name for the purposes of this, as that gap is just flicking back through the timing screen. That gap for 8th is coming down a little bit. It's just ticking down by about a tenth or so. I say that, it's gone back at 1.3. I am sorry, this is... I am doing very much the curse of the commentator. I go and look at something because it looks like it might get interesting, and then it doesn't. Apologies for not necessarily seeing all of the... all and any of the yellow flags that are going on track, if there are any. I am keeping an eye on the map, but also, unfortunately, my race control, I can only assume there's been an update come through and I haven't managed to download it. I will go check that after this. But it is just a sea of yellow flags next to everybody's name, so I don't entirely know why that is. I love technology, it's great. It works flawlessly all the time. So, yes, yeah, there's everybody's kind of spread out to reasonably nice, friendly gaps. As Trekov has managed to just start to close that gap up to Cook a little bit as well now, so that's hovering. The gap 30 to 420 BMW to the lead BMW to that McLaren has just ticked in under a second. So that's closing up a little bit. Yeah, so that's closing up. That's come up. Oh, that's come right down. That's come down to half a second already. That gap is falling and falling fast. That might be. Wonder if that BMW's cooked its tyres a little bit, and now the McLaren, having just taken a bit more time to get up to speed and up to temperature, is now coming into its own in these latter stages of the race. We're now well into the last quarter of the race now, with 12 minutes 15 to go. And counting, I'm wondering if that BMW has run its tyres a little bit high. Track temperature at 24, so not mega high, but not low either. So fairly reasonable kind of day. 19-degree air temperature, so brakes won't be getting too overhot as we see a big move there. But what have they got to do? What's Wilson got on the on Admiral? Nicely done on the brakes around the outside. Thank you very much. Down the outside, just checks up. Admiral looked like they had to get a little bit checked up there because they were on such a tight line in comparison. So just had to be on the brakes that much earlier and was able to just get tucked up nicely there. So, can the BMW do anything? No, it just does not have the brakes underneath it. I wonder if if they're not big wiggle on the way out of that. I'm wondering if they have started to cook their tyres a little bit. And whether they have started to just fall off, with just coming down to just inside 11 minutes now. So I'm wondering if they've just started to fall off, tyres just started to fall off, and the McLaren is a little bit happier, a little bit easier on its tyres, and is able to push. All these cars will basically be set up in essentially quali trim for this only being an hour-long race, and able to refuel and put tyres on halfway through. You're basically running a quality setup for these cars. They are full sprint setups. as we see a rather fetching camo colour on that McLaren in front of the back marker. What back marker is that? McLaren. Let's have a quick flick. Where is that car? 70? Yes, it is. It's car 70 of Hendrick. I apologise for not even trying with your surname. I'm gonna have to start learning other languages. I'm awful with languages. Just lets them by nicely on the straight. Just lifts off. That now leaves the BMW with them now between them and the BMW. That BMW is not able to catch. It is struggling. It's not catching anywhere near as fast as the McLaren is pulling away now from that back marker. So that's quite big. Like those two have kept the gap fairly even, but that BMW just hasn't closed up. Or has now managed to get a good run out of that chicane as they come up into the second chicane as they come up into the Lesmos. BMW just not catching this car quite as quickly. I think just the sheer difference in pace between that McLaren and BMW now. Maybe the setup's just not quite suiting the second driver there. It's a little bit more for the first driver, not quite enough of a compromise for both of them. Over the curves, gets a wiggle on. Does get past that back marker on the brakes, but that's clear as we see a battle here with Jaro and Fabio Cometti. I'm assuming they're relatives of each other. Those two that are in the this Aston Martin, as this Mercedes, sorry, all the M's and all confused, as this Mercedes is now catching up big time to there, as we see Cookie has gone down, as these two have, these two, so I'm gonna do a quick replay on that and see whether we can see what happened. So the BMW has caught up with, I do apologise, has caught up to Cook, dives hard on the brakes, give each other a little bit of a hip check, I think the BMW just running out a little bit running out of grip there, but nothing major. And that just leaves the door wide open for 787 and just comes streaming through and loses 2 places in the space of a corner there. And now again, that's that charging 913 Porsche 992. That's a mouthful and a half. Desperately trying to get a lap back here and manages to, as Cook gets a little bit on the gravel and runs wide. Now, that Porsche's got to get past and just run away now. It needs to pull a gap as fast as possible so that they don't have to give that place back. Looks like that's happened now. But what that has done is left the Aston and BMW much closer together to each other to catch up. And that looks like there's a bit of a fight on there. We also have a fight further back between the Aston and the Mercedes. Sorry, I was desperate for a swig of drink there. This battle between the Mercedes and the Aston Martin is very close, as Hobson has gone round and is falling down the order. What happened there? On the bumps goes really wide on the exit of the final chicane there. Runs out wide, hits the bumps in the gravel, and is a passenger. Did well not to get collected by anybody else as they tumble down the order there. Managed to bounce themselves off the barrier a little bit and get themselves back up and going. But they have lost a lot of places. They are now down in 10th, I believe? Yes, down in 10th after that mistake. I think that has promoted a whole bunch of people now for at least another place up. So, wonderful there for those that have managed to gain from it. as we see, I'm trying to work out who's, well, I believe that is a, we are riding on board with the Audi. That McLaren is, there's a McLaren who is lapping these two cars that I'm getting slightly confused of in between. So that McLaren will try and get on the gas now. The McLaren, these two McLarens have got to be careful. The camo one has got to be careful not to lose too much time against the black one that's lapping it, because it will fall straight into the clutches of that Audi directly behind it now. They're going to have to just back out of that corner, run wide, get to wiggle on. That has opened the door well and truly for the Audi. They have spotted it and run with it, taken that opportunity and to take that position. So very well done there for the Audi of Matthias. So yeah, very well done there. Raise up the penalty in cars. Sorry, I've only just picked this back up. I've been keeping on so many other things and trying to make sure stuff's not working. WRL 627, car 627. 10 seconds causing collision with car 121 on lap 13. So I didn't see that one. I don't think. So yes, that would be the issue with that one. Yes, I can make the in-game sound louder. Apologies, I have been focusing on so many other things. I will actually have to do that in-game because I turned it down. Audio, let's bump that up 5%. I hope that is acceptable. Apologies, I've only just managed to get back to catch up with all of what's going on. Hello Charlie. Is one of our fellow staff members here at Toga. Charlie is steward. I will get there eventually. Double audio coming through. No. I know that's just being choppy because I'm not staring at it. It's not selected, so that's fine. Yeah. Right. Race control. There we go. Isla Chirov, you are catching up quite nicely to Morgan, Zach Morgan, who we saw Elias barrel the way past. And Elias has pulled up a whole bunch more places. Either that or unfortunately Morgan may have slipped down. I haven't entirely seen what's happened. As we see 5 seconds for Trekov. Is there car 627 causing for a push to pass on 218 on lap 28. So that was that move we saw. We got a little bit of a hip and shoulder there, going through the final corner there that we saw between those two. That was with Cook, car 128, wasn't it? Look through the list. 128. Yes. We'll get there eventually. It has been quite the moment. As we see Daniel Lund catching up with Cook as well. It's now down under half a second, so we shall follow this and we'll hit the final lap. So that is car 420. I did not see that one happen. Car 420 has... Oh yes, we did see that one happen. Apologies. Managed to get past. So we'll see if this burgeoning fight turns into anything going through over this last lap as they start their final lap, being a little bit behind the leader. Whether this turns into anything, they are the closest of anybody on track at the moment, so we'll keep following this as they go down on the brakes into the first chicane. Chicane stays fairly even, but they do have to keep an eye out because either of these make a mistake and Elias is hunting them down. It would have been almost interesting to see if this was like another half hour longer of a race. Because I think this might have turned into something possibly a bit interesting. But then it's motor racing, it always is. So yeah, really well done there. These two. Where is the leader? Leader is ahead on the road a little bit. 20 odd seconds up the road, so that's fine. This is staying fairly stable. The Audi ran a little bit wide, but then so did Cook coming out of that section. Audi ran a little bit higher, a little bit tight through the wide through the middle, and the Ferrari ran a little bit wide on the exit. Neither of them really making any huge gains. A bit of a dive on the brakes from the Audi as it slows down there.
The leader has finished the race.
As Wilson has finished. Well, very well done, Luke Wilson for Poggers Racing. Very well done there. Feel free to do some celebratory donuts. I think as is usually in order with these things. Or just have a steady wind down to the end of the race. So 627 will pick up 5 seconds at the end of the race. That will drop them that will drop them quite a few places actually. That's not great. So yeah, that will drop them quite a few places as it looks like that battle with Darren Lund and David Cook didn't come to anything, unfortunately, there. So no advantage gained either way. We have no, you're just coming across the line now as everybody, the last few cars on track are out there now, just coming to the end of their final laps. This looks like the Mercedes will be the last one to cross the line. We'll ride on board and to some degree enjoy the noise of that 6-litre V8. And that is that. Everybody has finished. And that is another driver swap done. Apologies for all the issues earlier on at the start of the race. With computers being computers and wonderfully helpful. So I am just going to go and switch this over. And if anybody did want to come and have a chat, you are more than welcome to. You are more than welcome to join us for that one. So by all means, come join us for a chat. If not, don't mind. Not offended either way. Barbecue Possum, you were in that Poggers Racing, weren't you? So well done for your first win there. First win and curse broken. Nice. Well done. Very well done indeed to yourself there and your teammate for that win. Don't believe you had any penalties, so unless something comes post-race, I don't think there was anything major for you, so well done. Like I say, the final results will be posted on SimGrid in the next couple of days, and will be viewable as and when you will see those through. So well done to you. Did anybody want to come and have a chat? Doesn't look like anybody does. Nobody likes talking to me. Nobody likes talking to Matt. Nobody likes talking. Give it another couple of minutes just to shoot threes. That was a rather good race. Reasonably well behaved from everybody. And that's what you get from a largely fairly professional, or faster, more experienced class of drivers and cars. Big shout out to Borkman, the Swedish Stig. So yes, you were not hanging about. Made that first stint for yourselves not exactly easy, and then have pulled that one back. So very well done indeed. Any that's fine. So yes, looks like Andy is going to come and have a chat with us. Apologies, it was just myself in the end. I wasn't entirely sure. We had commentary team a little bit up and down, and obviously Mac and Hayden were racing. Massive thank you to both of those for making this, for helping out earlier on whilst they were trying to get ready to go racing earlier on, and just helping us out getting this all set up and going. So yeah, I believe that looks like that is it for tonight. Again, massive thank you to the stewards and everybody for organising and making this all happen. None of this would happen without yourselves. Or well, certainly driving stats wouldn't be anywhere near as good as they are. So very well done there. Well done to everybody that competed and finished tonight. I don't think we saw anybody actually drop out. So very well done to everybody there. And we shall catch you for the next round next week, which will be... I really need to remember. I have to do so many of these. I don't at the moment. I'm struggling to remember. Driver swap. It's the last round next week for the Driver Swap Cup. I was hoping the track would be on there, but it isn't. There's certainly right trying to be cheeky. Yeah, so very well done to everybody who competed. Very well done to the winners from today. And we shall, I believe we're next, with the calendar up, we are back next on the 11th. No. Yes. It's the 11th. Sorry, I'm getting my days mixed up. For the last round of the Porsche Sprint Cup. And then it is the Driver Swap Cup. And then on the 28th, we have 4 hours of the Nordschleife. So get yourself all signed up for that one if you want to go and do that. That should be a right riot of a race. Really long track. Obviously that new DLC getting everybody nice and excited there. So that should be a good race for everybody to enjoy. So hopefully we'll see a nice packed grid for that one. Not 100% sure who's going. No, I believe it's Ches who will be streaming on commentary for you for next for the Sprint Cup. Should be somebody else with them. Haven't quite worked out who that is as of yet. But it will be Chaz for the Sprint Cup, and we will work out the rest of the week after that. So, from us here, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for putting up with us. Thank you for putting up with all the technical difficulties. And we shall see you someone.